Hey, Tim Sykes here with a weekend video lesson. I want you getting used to using the weekends to prepare better for when the stock market is open during the week. Think of the weekends as kind of like the off season. So if you understand that lesson by the end of this video, please underneath this video, leave a comment saying, I will prepare. That is the biggest key to success that my top students and I are finding. Too many of you guys just don't want to think about the market. You don't want to think about how to make money ahead of time. You just want to wake up, maybe 9 a.m. Eastern, half hour before the market opens, and you're like, okay, what's hot? Prepare ahead of time. Learn to think about what the next potential move is going to be. And right now we have a lot of great plays. SPWH is my top watch. I'll explain it in a second, but I really want you to look at what my top students have done and what's made them successful. I hope you've watched this video that we uploaded with Stephen Ducks, my 22-year-old student who just made $900,000 in profits. You can just Google 22-year-old with $900,000 in profits, and you can watch this video. So many great tips. Also, my student Tim Grattani, he just passed $4 million in profits, and he gives a lot of great tips. This is nearly it's over an hour-long interview that we did a few weeks ago. So these videos took a very long time to set up, to plan, and now I'm glad that you guys are watching them, but more of you guys need to watch. It's imperative that you learn from successful traders, okay? People who have made hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. If you learn from a lot of these newbies who maybe they make, 50 or 100 or $200,000 total in this bull market, and they think they know what they're doing, they don't. It is so dangerous to learn from people who have not been around, who have not been making 6 and 7 figures for years and decades. This is my warning to you, okay? There are newbies out there who look all amazing. They will get their asses handed to them because they don't have the proper process. And if you learn from them, trust me, you will learn the hard way. So this is my warning to you. I like to stick to very simple patterns. If you read my blog post, An Athlete's Guide to Stock Trading by Ray Allen, success is all about boring old habits. And I'll link this blog post underneath this video, and I'll link the other 2 videos. So you have tons and tons of opportunity to study. But this is my favorite pattern right now, the multi-day penny stock earnings breakout pattern. I wrote this post nearly a decade ago. Think about that, okay? This pattern has stood the test of time. And it's all about stocks, how they spike. The stock doubled on good earnings. And then day 2, day 3, day 4, they can spike even more because earnings plays can have legs. And some of you guys are like, well, what is an earnings winner? CNBC says, this is an earnings loser. CNBC is full of shit. It pisses me off when you guys get brainwashed by bad information. CNBC is great for entertainment, okay? I highly encourage it. Grab like a little bowl of popcorn and watch it for entertainment. But don't you dare think that CNBC is going to teach you what an earnings winner is. Their definition is wrong. And their definition is what most people think. And guess what? Most people lose money stock trading. So you have to learn to think different. What I have learned in now 19 years of trading is that earnings winners can spike for several days. This is one of my boring old habits. You don't have to guess earnings ahead of time. You don't have to fucking look at an earnings calendar. You just look at the reaction to earnings, and you look at the multi-month and multi-year breakouts, and you buy it. Ideally, the high of the day. DEAR. This was nearly a decade ago. When it breaks day 1 high, right here in the mid-3s, guess what? Keeps going all the way up to the 5s in 2 days. Okay? Look. No real play here until it breaks out past 2-time top at 330-ish. Still a potential buy. And then we did buy. And look at all these subscribers. I mean, this was literally nearly a decade ago. And it keeps happening again and again. The other day, SORL. I was buying this in the 5s twice. Okay? I missed the dip buy opportunity on day 4, which was the real big spiker at 550. I was giving a live webinar from the Stocks to Trade headquarters, and I just missed it. But this is a great example. So I nailed it twice in the 5s. I missed the third opportunity to buy, which turned out to be the best. But this is a day 4 spike on SORL. This is day 1 after the earnings. You can see the multi-month breakout above 5. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 is the big spike. Let's just look at this. This was a decade ago. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Same exact fucking pattern. And it pisses me off that many of you guys, A, don't recognize it, B, don't play it, C, aren't prepared for it, D, aren't prepared for future plays. So I'm going to try to get you prepared. That's what this whole video is. Again, if I'm making sense, leave a comment saying I will prepare ahead of time, or I will be prepared. Whatever the wording that you want to use, okay? Wait for the patterns to come to you. And that's exactly what I did. Okay, GLYC, nice breakout above the multi-month highs here at 9-ish and 10-ish, 3 years. Multi-year breakout. And a lot of you guys nailed it. I missed it. It's a little too high price. It's not earnings. SPWH, this is another breakout. This is the newest earnings play. Now, if you look at the chart, it's not as nice, okay? This is not a nice kind of stock chart. But it is a multi-month breakout above here in the 520s. And more importantly, I think, over the breakout intraday was where it based here in the 550s. And really 555 and 560 is support. When they first reported earnings, I mean, the first spike was 550. The morning spike was 560. The midday consolidation high was like 560. So I was buying it in here at 570. And after hours, it's getting all the way up to 590. Can it break 6 tomorrow? I don't know, okay? This is not a perfect pattern like SORL, but at least it's in the right vicinity. Massive, massive volume, massive multi-month breakout, and, good reaction to earnings. So there's really no resistance until 8. I don't know if it's going to get that high. I don't know if it's going to be truly the next SORL type multi-day runner. I guess there's some resistance right here at 620, 625. Okay. I'm fine with it going to 625 if this resistance from 2015 happens. But if this resistance, here in the 7s is more recent, that's more likely. But I don't know how far it can get. All I know is that it broke the recent highs in the mid 5s, so I am long a few thousand shares over the weekend. And a lot of people, messaged me when I bought the stock. They're like, why? Let me just show you my watch list. Hold on, this was going into Friday. Every single night, subscribers know that I send out my watch list to try to prepare you for potential movers the next day. Okay? SORL, GLYC, these are the two biggest movers. SPWH looks to be a new overnight earnings winner, although it's not a very volatile stock, nor did it have a great long-term chart, so I'm in no rush to buy like I was with SORL. SORL I bought right away on the first dip at 534. And considering it went up to the 7s, I didn't obviously capture all of it, but I was on the right track because I knew that it fit my pattern to a T. SPWH, excuse me, I recognize that it's not perfect, but I'm watching this for dip buys only. So this was before the market opened on Friday. I sent this out. So I was prepared ahead of time. And, I'm traveling. I'm working in Europe for the next few days, working on Stocks to Trade, which is a platform that you all should use. But guess what? The dip buy worked out very nicely right near the market open. If you could have bought this in the low 4s, or the low 5s and the high 4s. Nice morning spike of nearly $1 a share off its lows in the first 20 minutes. So I wish I had been there. Every now and then I miss a play. That was a great profit opportunity. I'm glad several of you nailed it because you were prepared ahead of time. Or you bought the high of the day breakout here at 560-ish. Goes up to, 6. So nothing huge. And again, it's kind of tough to buy breakouts at like 10:30, 11 a.m. Eastern. So dip buying, 540-ish when it holds support here. That's a good dip buy. It gets a little boring midday though. So I like my entrance right in here around 570. Nice clear uptrend. And now the question is, can it take out the day highs of 590-ish? If it can take out the day highs of 590-ish, it's already testing after hours. If it can take those out, then it can go to the 6s. And then it becomes a multi-day winner, and then more people start comparing it to SORL. So it's seeing these potential plays ahead of time. And guess what? It might top at 590, and I might have to sell. It might not even get back to 590, and I might have to sell. I'm not saying that this is going to win 100% of the time, but it is a pattern that I'm very comfortable with. It is a pattern that I've made millions of dollars off of over the years. And so I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to do patterns and strategies that work. If this stops working, then I'll stop, partaking in that strategy. If you remember Tim Grittani, who made 4 million, hold up, let me pull up his chart. Here's Tim Grittani's chart, 4.36 million in profits after starting with just a few $1,000s in 5 years, okay? So it looks all beautiful, like, oh, wow, he never really has any, downturns. He never really makes mistakes. I mean, this was a nasty few $100,000 loss. He's had a few $100,000 losses. You don't know how his chart is eventually going to end up. More important than this, overall gradual increase in his profits is the fact that he's adapted. Down here, he was buying biotech breakouts and penny stock breakouts and OTC breakouts. A lot of these promoter type plays, buying them within the first few seconds of the promotion, that strategy is dead, okay? He's adapted now. He's trading a lot of NASDAQs. He's shorting a lot into morning spikes, and he's trying different patterns. So for me, this multi-day earnings winner has been gold, and it keeps working. But if it stops working, I will adapt, because every one of you should want a profit chart like this. And I know that, Tim Grittani is an outlier. Not everyone is going to turn a few thousand into over 4 million in 5 years. I mean, he's doubled what I did in my first 5 years, which is awesome. But I want you to see that it's possible. I want to show you that it's possible, because so many of you are just learning the wrong patterns from the wrong people. And you're never, ever going to have this kind of a pattern. You're never, ever going to have this kind of profit chart, because you're on the wrong path. If you're watching CNBC, if you're learning from newbies, if you're learning from somebody who won't show all their trades publicly, they won't show their name publicly. I see a lot of bullshit in this industry. I want to counter that. Okay? This is what you need. And this is why I have so many video lessons. Some of you guys ask me, like, why do you have so many video lessons? We've organized it by categories, but you need to study. Okay? This is not a very complex thing. I had one of my fans, he was like trying to say, "Oh, Tim, I love your work, but," and I was like, "But what?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to say it." And I was like, "But what?" And he's like, "Well, this isn't that complicated." I was like, "No shit. I'm not trying to say that I'm a rocket scientist. I'm not trying to say that this is tough. It's not like this. I mean, the multi-day earnings winner pattern, just fucking buy the breakout over the high of the day or the multi-day high. Wait for the reaction to earnings." But in order to follow these simple directions, I need to de-brainwash you. I need to get you away from thinking, oh, this company did not beat, earnings estimates by analysts, so it's an earnings loser. Why is it spiking? Because CNBC is wrong. That is why. Because most people are wrong. That is why most people lose in the market. It all makes sense to me. It all makes sense to my millionaire students, but many of you guys don't get it yet. And that is why I encourage you to watch video lesson after 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 video lesson, and more video lessons, because this is the key to being prepared. Studying the past. And I hope that, you guys understand it, because I know some of you nailed SPWH in the low fives or the mid fives, and it really looks like this is going to, break above 590-ish, or at least test it. And we'll see how high it can go. I don't have any great expectations. I'm not like, this company is totally turning everything around, I'm going to put a $10 price target on this. Not any bullshit like that. It's just a question of, can it break past day one highs? Can it break out to new highs? Will it be a double top? I don't care. I don't mind, because I dip bought it. I would not say buy it right at 590, because what happens if it gets stuffed? What happens if you buy it at 590 and it immediately fails, and everyone who was anticipating the breakout starts selling, and it goes down to 560 in a minute or two? That's why I like dip buying. That's why I specifically said on a play like this, dip buys only, which is what I did. And that is from practice and experience. Many of you guys are just starting. Maybe you're a year in, or a month in, or a week in. How do you get experience? By studying the past. Okay? I post a few of these videos on YouTube, but all of the best videos are on Profitly. I have 4,800 plus video lessons, and we organize it. The basics, trading mistakes, technology, great trades, and specifically earnings. 1,100 video lessons on earnings. Just think about that for a second, okay? These are not easy to do. The reason why I'm losing my voice often is because I'm making a lot of videos. I'm actually working on 2 new DVDs right now, Trader Checklist Part 2 and Penny Stocking Framework Part 2. That's why my voice is a little out of it right now. I've been working all day on that. But earnings plays. There are 1,100 plus video lessons, so you can study the past. You can see different stuff. And, we're not 100% organized. I mean, when you watch some of these video lessons, that'll be on earnings and something else, like, this one, GSAT, HIMX, FNJN, TCCO, and ZPAS. These are multiple different kinds of patterns. The greatest lesson here on CNBC was to sell right when CNBC mentioned this stock and spiked GSAT. That was a top. It dropped 20% over the next day because CNBC is so fucking bad. So this lesson is also applicable. It's not just about earnings. I want you to understand different catalysts, different indicators, and different probabilities. My brain is kind of all over the place. My trading is kind of all over the place, but this is why I make these video lessons and these DVDs, to help organize it. This is a very, very simple pattern, multi-day earnings winner. But simple is not bad, okay? This is not like an Olympic diving sport where, the Koreans have so little splash and they have a degree of difficulty of like a 9.8. It doesn't matter if your difficulty level on a trade is 1.0 out of 10, okay? That's probably what I would rate this. If you had to rate what an earnings winner multi-day breakout pattern would be, it's like a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10. How difficult is it? It is the least difficult pattern that I know. And yet, it's also very reliable. So, a lot of people think that this is too simple, and they think that they're like putting me down by saying, oh, this is so simple. Like, don't you want to do anything else? Don't you want to move on to anything else? No. I'm going to continue focusing on patterns that work when they work, more times than not. I want you to be very clear on this. SPWH, I could be totally wrong holding it overnight at 570. Maybe an analyst is going to downgrade it. Maybe any kind of news can happen overnight. But at the same time, I recognize that it fits my pattern, not exactly to a T, but pretty close. And so the odds favor me holding long. The odds favor it testing 590. I don't know if it's going to break 590 or 595. I'm totally prepared either way. If it doesn't break 595, I'm not going to get angry, because Monday, tomorrow, is only day 2 in this pattern. Maybe it breaks 595 on day 3 or day 4. But I will be watching that key level. I'll be looking to dip buy again and again, understanding this is not an exact science, and yet this is one of my favorite patterns. So congrats to everybody on SORL. I made a little over $1,000 on it, trading very small, trading kind of pathetically, even though I was dead on right in the 530s, and I also dip bought it in the 570s or 580s. This is the kind of potential that these stocks can have, where you can make 20, 30, 40, 50% in 2 or 3 days. Again, most of Wall Street, most of CNBC, actually all of CNBC, but most of Wall Street and all of CNBC will say that trading these kinds of stocks is unpredictable. I have definitive proof. I have a fucking catalog of videos and examples from myself and students showing that these patterns are not unpredictable. They are predictable more times than not. So again, this is my little speech for today. This is my preparation for tomorrow. I'll send you guys a watch list later tonight. Those of you who are subscribed, everybody else, stay confused. If you have any doubts, don't study. I'm not offended. I'm going to keep focusing on these same patterns. I'm going to keep trying to do the best I can. I'm going to keep trying to create more millionaire students. And I'm going to keep making more and more DVDs and video lessons and guides that I think are helpful to you guys and giving you a little structure so that you're not brainwashed by newbies or, faulty entertainment media outlets pretending, masquerading as being useful. Fuck them.